Welcome to Buy or Buy, the show where we figure out if that car you've been dreaming about is a brilliant purchase or a total nightmare waiting to happen. We do the digging, you get the verdict. All right, today we are tackling an absolute legend, the fourth generation Dodge Viper. Now, this car is the peak of a brutal, unapologetic formula, and at its heart, a monstrous V10 engine, pumping out a jaw-dropping 600 horsepower. And here's the crazy part. What's even more incredible is that right now, you can pick one of these up for about the price of a loaded-up new sedan. I mean, think about that. A 600 horsepower V10 supercar for around 45 grand? It's insane.
So, on paper, this thing looks like the absolute deal of a lifetime, right? But is it too good to be true? Are we looking at a hidden gem? Or is it, a snake waiting to strike? Okay, let's dive in and find out. Okay, first things first, let's talk about the appeal because, let's be honest, it is huge. You really have to get what makes the 2008 to 2010 ZBE Viper so seductive to even understand why someone would think about taking on all these risks. You see, the Viper was basically born to be a modern-day Shelby Cobra. Just a brutal, no-compromises kind of car. And this fourth generation, man, they perfected that recipe. We're talking a massive 8.4-liter V10, 3 pedals, and a good old-fashioned stick shift. And get this, absolutely zero electronic safety nets to save you from yourself. This was it, the absolute definition of a purist's machine. But, and this is a big but, that legendary V10 engine, the very soul of this car, is hiding a terrifying, wallet-destroying secret. Seriously, this is the part where the dream can turn into a full-blown nightmare real fast. So, on Vipers that have been driven hard, and let's be real, that's what they're for, especially ones that have seen track time, there's this thing called valve seat drop. Basically, a tiny little metal ring inside the engine decides to go for a walk. It works itself loose, falls into the cylinder, and boom. The result is immediate, catastrophic engine failure. Game over. And the price tag to fix that little oopsie? Well, you'll need to go to a specialist shop. And believe me, you will need a specialist. And you're looking at a repair bill that could easily be half of what you paid for the entire car. Just let that sink in for a second. Oh, and the financial bleeding doesn't just stop with the engine. Nope. Cracked exhaust manifolds? That's a common and expensive problem. But it gets worse. You know those iconic side pipes that look so cool? Their heat shields can fail, and that creates a very, very real risk of some nasty leg burns for you or your passenger. And I'm not exaggerating here. This isn't some figure of speech. Real Viper owners have the scars to prove it. Okay, so even if you set aside the huge mechanical bills, we've got to talk about the single biggest reason this car is such a problem today. And it's not actually about what the car has, it's all about what it's missing. And right here, this is the heart of the issue. See, unlike pretty much any modern sports car, the Viper has zero electronic safety net. I mean, none. No traction control, no stability control. It's just you. Your right foot is literally the only thing standing between 600 horsepower and instantly vaporizing those rear tires. Look, let's be perfectly clear. This car was built for expert drivers, period. It does absolutely nothing to help you out, to prevent your mistakes, or to soften the blow when you make one. Every single thing you do has an immediate and totally unfiltered consequence. And hey, don't just take my word for it. This isn't just some car guy's opinion. The insurance industry itself agrees. A lot of mainstream companies will just flat out refuse to even write a policy for a Viper. And if you can find someone to cover you, you better believe you're going to pay an astronomical premium. It's this massive, often overlooked cost that can just kill the dream. But all right, let's say you survive the drive. You actually find an insurance company willing to take your money. You still have to live with this thing, day to day. And let me tell you, that experience is anything but luxurious. Yeah, the day-to-day realities are pretty grim. Those gigantic rear tires, they can run you almost $1,000 each, and you'll be lucky to squeeze 10,000 miles out of a set. The heat pouring off the V10 and those side pipes will literally cook you inside the cabin. The interior, it's filled with cheap plastic straight out of the Chrysler parts bin. And hey, good luck finding a local dealer who even knows how to look at one of these things, let alone work on it. So, okay, we've looked at the incredible raw performance on one side, and on the other, we have staggering financial risks, a total lack of modern safety, and just a brutal daily ownership experience. I think it's time. time for the final verdict. You know, when you just lay it all out like that, the case against the Viper is, well, it's overwhelming. The potential for both financial and physical disaster is just way too high. And we're not talking about a list of minor quirks here, folks. These are serious, expensive, and straight-up dangerous flaws that you just cannot ignore. Now look, could this be a future collector's item? Sure, absolutely, but it's for a tiny, tiny group of owners. We're talking experts with deep pockets who get the risks and can afford them. But for the other 99% of us, for the enthusiasts out there who are just looking for an exciting, usable supercar bargain, yeah, this one is one of the clearest, most emphatic buys we have ever given. The whole risk-to-reward thing, it is just wildly out of whack for the average person. But hey, we're not going to just leave you hanging like that. If you want that big American engine thrill, but with, a fraction of the risk, there is a much, much smarter way to spend your money. And that alternative is the C6 generation Corvette Z06. You get a very similar experience, a massive American engine, 505 horsepower from a 7.0-liter V8, but, and this is the key, it actually comes with things like traction control and stability control, plus the reliability is just in a different league. It makes it a far, far more sensible buy. So that kind of leaves us with one last big question, doesn't it? The Viper ZB2. It really is the peak of that raw, analog, unassisted supercar. But now, in a world full of driver aids, all-wheel drive, and 1,000-horsepower electric cars, is there really still a place for a car that is this unapologetically, this fundamentally dangerous?